people can say that they are excited to be in college. Most are not so patiently waiting for summer break. We take this for granted as there is a worldwide education shortage. The lack of education goes beyond just America. It's everywhere. My name is Hannah Barnes. I'm here with Alexandra Colts and Sterling Scarlett. We have the opportunity to attend Murray State University, whereas there's plenty of people around the world who simply cannot and do not have the ability to access education. The worldwide lack of education is a significant problem that our nonprofit organization can improve. We plan to help resolve the lack of education by creating a nonprofit organization and understanding the problems that we will face. There is a worldwide need for more access to education. The shortage is based merely on the fact that there needs to be more resources. Many poverty-stricken areas fail to provide education simply because they cannot afford it. Many factors go into providing a good education, like teachers, areas to house the learners, and access to resources like books, pencils, and etc. The lack of education leads to plenty of problems in society. Cornell states in Poverty and Education that a cycle of poverty emerged where low aspirations and poor support to children led to low achievement. Another article states by Lang that to put into perspective, the ratio of age-appropriate books per children in low-income neighborhoods is 1 per 300 children, compared to middle-income neighborhoods where the ratio is 1 child to 13 books. Education is costly. Poverty-stricken areas will continue to lack access to education because it is a never-ending cycle. The lack of education affects jobs and wages that have the potential to be earned. Education cannot be given without resources, and you cannot find resources without the funds to provide them. Poverty-stricken areas will continue to lack education unless there is a way to provide resources like up-to-date books and qualified teachers to the impoverished areas to give effective education. Next, I'll hand it over to Sterling to discuss how the solution is needed to fix the problem of the lack of education.
Our goal to fix the problem of the lack of education is to create a nonprofit organization. This nonprofit organization will aim to collect different necessities a school has and help fund different schools in impoverished areas. Not only will we seek to collect school items, but we will also strive to get collections of all kinds. Many towns that lack education are in poverty, which leads us to our goal to help these people in many areas, not just education. As students, we typically have a bunch of school supplies left over at the end of each year. We may have notebooks, folders, books, utensils, and so on. These are supplies that could help thousands of kids. These supplies we typically view as easy to get are so much more valuable than we may think. Instead of wasting these items away and throwing them away, a better use would be to donate to our organization. These are the donations which may seem small to you, but they truly will help us provide for schools. Our nonprofit will also strive to mentor children and help guide them through proper education. We'll help them learn the great importance of education and provide for their needs in school. Along with mentoring children, we'll also provide free tutoring for them. This will allow the students to get involved with their learning and help better their understanding on the subjects they are learning. Another problem that contributes to the lack of education is the lack of teachers. In our program, we will also provide the free training to teachers so that they can learn school policies, create engaging classrooms, and have a positive environment. We will have to prosper off of donations. According to the School of Education, grants, government money, and donations from individuals and corporations are the main reasons nonprofit organizations thrive. Another book, Managing Nonprofit Organizations, also claims the real owner of a nonprofit is the public. This means the most essential part of building our organization would be the help of valuable donations from the community. With the generous donations we may receive, we can flourish in our organization and help spread more education through areas of poverty. Although creating a nonprofit is a difficult task, according to Lermar, they have a successful track record of bringing free resources to students who need them most. This shows how big of a difference a nonprofit can make in the lives of those who may need it. It has the ability to be successful and provide education. A lack of education is causing more poverty worldwide. The less educated people are, the more challenging it is to obtain a job. Our organization will allow education to flourish in these areas so people can seek better education, leading to more employment opportunity. With the help of different supplies and funds, schools can better teach students and pay teachers. Now that we have discussed how our nonprofit organization can solve this issue, let's hand it to Alex to examine some of the people's questions and concerns.
Hi, a counter argument that could be mentioned is that there is no lack of education in the world and that there are already several organizations supporting this cause anyway. Our answer to those questions is that there needs to be available education for those who need it, and yes, there are already organizations supporting this cause. However, our organization will be based explicitly in Western Kentucky and surrounding areas as we grow this organization. According to Kristen Besner, with 7 organizations supporting global education, each of the following organizations crosses borders and boundaries to bring quality education to every child. Many of them have lofty goals regarding global education, but many have earned a worldwide reputation for the work they have done to achieve these goals. These organizations include the Association for Childhood Education International, Education International, the Global Partnership for Education, Plan International, Save the Children, UNESCO, and UNICEF. They all work towards the same goal, which is to provide education to those who cannot afford or attend school. Although 7 organizations already work to address the lack of education worldwide, adding one more would be good. We plan to implement programs throughout Western Kentucky to collect donations for those who cannot afford school, and if we get there, offer teaching or tutoring services. These tutoring services would be free to those in need, and it would all be volunteer work. We have covered that there are already organizations working towards the lack of education problem. But are these organizations set to help in specific areas? Let us talk about UNICEF. This is an organization that works worldwide to stop this issue. UNICEF says education is a basic human right. In 147 countries around the world, UNICEF works to provide quality learning opportunities that prepare children and adolescents with the knowledge and skills they need to thrive. We focus on equitable access, quality learning, and education in emergencies. UNICEF does provide services worldwide, but does not focus on a specific region like we will. We have discussed our plan and how we want to focus on the general area of Western Kentucky, but the organization we start could turn into a chain and focus on small parts of different states. We would focus on the most extensive poverty areas of Western Kentucky and also the places that are not as poverty-stricken. Not only would we focus on the most poverty-stricken areas, but we would also focus on other regions for those who cannot afford transportations or supplies for school, since those areas are often overlooked. The counter-argument of those who do not believe that lack of education is a problem can be proved wrong by many websites and research. According to Michael Hansen with the Harvard Business Review, the U.S. education system must be reevaluated to better prepare students with employable skills. Employers need to adjust how they evaluate candidates and job requirements. By facing this problem head-on, the education industry can aid in the economic recovery from the pandemic and prevent similar hiring gaps in the future. He talks about the issue of learning employable skills in school, voting for representatives that will support the children in school system, and how the pandemic has affected our education system. Hansen's points were valid and will be recognized when we start our organization with all the issues he addressed. We can also understand from Hansen that the children and teenagers currently enrolled in school need to learn more about getting a job right out of high school. Since most education problems arise from poverty, many students will not have the money to attend college, so they will most likely join the workforce right after high school. That gives us something to consider, and we could add the skills and knowledge needed for that into our tutoring services. Although many organizations and people support those who can't afford an education, this is still a major issue worldwide. We have recognized this issue and plan to implement a nonprofit organization that will start in Western Kentucky and add other locations. This nonprofit organization will be volunteer-based and collect donations of money or school supplies for those in need. We will start this organization for those who aren't fortunate enough to get an education, and we hope to see some support or volunteers from those who also recognize this issue and want to make a change. We want you to consider how your education can be used to educate others. Thank you.